For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
It's time for an inside look at the most powerful motorsport on the planet. WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro. This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio is back. We're going to do our Lucas Oil Winternationals Winners Edition, Top Fuel style. Justin Ashley going to be joining us on the show just seconds from now. So fans of Top Fuel, of NHRA, of Justin, of Phillips, share this show. Let's get it out there, as this guy has gone back-to-back in a bunch of different ways. He won back-to-back races. He won back-to-back Lucas Oil Winternationals. He won a race on Saturday. He won a race on Sunday. It's going to be great. Before we get to Justin, let me tell you about the people who make it possible for me to go WFO and chase race car drivers around all week, like the folks at Phillips Connect. Go to phillips-connect.com to find out about smart trailer technology. They keep you up on so many different things, safety related, schedule related. It is great if you are in the transportation industry. You can even reach out to me, Joe, at WFOradio.com, and I will put you together with the folks at Phillips Connect. They were all out there. We'll speak with Justin about that. But Phillips Connect, big supporter of WFO Radio. Also on board with WFO, you heard a little bit about FTI performance transmissions and torque conversion. All you got to do is watch Pro Mod, Top Dragster, Top Sportsman, 890, the big money bracket racing stuff that's going on right now out there at the Fling. So many are using FTIperformance.com. If you're making big power and you need to run the number, FTI is the way to get it done. Our friends at Foggit, Foggit. This is Gary Stinnett and Steve Williams partnering together to preserve the inside of the engines for so many racers out there, whether bracket racers, sportsman racers, whatever you're doing. If you need to preserve the inside of your cylinder wall finish, Foggit is how you do it at the end of the night. You just pull that ignition wire, you fog it down the carburetor or into the spark plug holes, and that's going to protect the inside of your cylinders for all that corrosion that happens overnight. Foggit. Total Seal piston rings. Hartford had himself a runner-up finish out there at Pomona, but it's really all an exercise on ring seal. I got to walk the factory floor the other day. I got to see all the high technology stuff that's going on in Total Seal piston rings, from Formula One to stock eliminator to pro stock, maybe even some nitro cars. TotalSeal.com. Check out their website and get up on Total Seal. And then there's Bernie's.com. You want to buy a car, you want to sell a car, you want to get out there and do a total frame off restoration if you're in the movie biz and you need a prop or a car that's a character. Go to Bernie's.com. Definitely check out their social media, American Classic Horsepower. And if you've got to sell a machine, you can do it through them on consignment. Later on in the show, I'll tell you about the Patreon VIP Listener Club. I'll tell you about Sam Tech. I'll tell you about Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. And I'll tell you about my man, Marvin Rodak from Fort Worth, Texas. But right now, we're going to go out and catch up with our Top Fuel winner from the last two races. We saw it in the pits interview with him out there after the Arizona Nationals. He makes it easy for us by winning again. Justin Ashley joining us now. Justin, congratulations.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me on. You know, I'm a big fan of WFO, so I love what you guys do.
Thank you. Thank you. Your dad just heaping all kinds of WFO praise after the win in Arizona. And that was kind of interesting because you had won Dallas, then kind of the wheels came off at the end of the countdown. We had this big offseason, lost first round at the Gator Nationals. And so people were wondering, like there were questions being raised, like, wow, what's going on? And those questions were just squashed with back-to-back wins, 3 in a row if you count the Mission Food, Too Fast, Too Tasty. And you've kind of signaled that you're back with authority. That's got to be a great feeling.
Yeah, you know, it really is. It's still really early on in the year. We have 21 races, so we have 18 to go, but we're really happy with it. You know, how we ended last year didn't sit well with anybody. And I think people were trying to put 2 and 2 together saying, well, these guys struggled the last 2 races of last year. And then they struggled in Gainesville, and those 2 things are correlated. But truthfully, they weren't. There were 2 totally separate things. And what we did in the offseason was we made a lot of adjustments that we thought would really benefit us in 2023 because we felt like we had to. We knew how good the competition was going to be. So we took maybe a minor step back to hopefully take 2 steps forward. And I think you've seen the results here early on throughout the first 3 races. So Mike Green, Tommy DeLago, the Phillips Connect boys have done a great job so far.
That's great. We got a lot of people out there weighing in. I'm looking at the live stream number, and it's a little down. Fortunately, that everybody is, watches after the fact. But I wonder if we're on our normal locations, the internet. But the bottom line is Kev is out there in the UK, and AJ is out there, and everybody's watching. That's probably your dad. Everyone's saying what's up from out there. I've been talking to a lot of crew chief. I worked on Fox this past weekend. I had to go talk to crew chiefs. Everybody said something like what you said, a version of whatever it was we were doing last year was not going to be good enough this year. We had to change our program top to bottom if we're going to compete. And for everybody to be having that same story, like they know that the competition level is through the roof. And so something has to happen.
It really is. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it before. It's iron sharpens iron, and you start to see all the drivers, you start to see all the teams get better because frankly, Joe, we have no choice. As great as last year was, as great as the competition was, 2023 was going to be better. That was just a fact. Any given Sunday, just like football, any given Sunday in racing, anything can happen, and you've seen it. You're going to continue to see it throughout the year. So no one wanted to just rest on what they had. I think we all kind of had the same approach. We all wanted to be proactive and try and do everything we can to take the next step. And the team worked really, really hard in the offseason, and Mike Green and Tommy DeLago oversaw everything. Obviously, they've done a great job, as they always do. So, the storylines are the same throughout all the teams in the Nitro ranks. We're all just trying to get better, and, the tide is rising. It's up to us to rise with it.
Yeah, Earl Nichols out there saying, congratulations, you're killing it. You made a point to come over to the Samsel pit when he got his win. Earl out there, the camaraderie amongst racers, they're pulling for you as well. Let's talk about you round by round. Okay, first of all, you snatched the number 1 qualifying position in that final session, which I thought was really interesting, winning the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge. I guess we should start there. Your first appearance in the bonus race, you earned some championship points. Your take on the program, I feel like it's great, but what do you think?
It is great. I really didn't know what to expect. It was one of those deals where you kind of expect the unexpected because we hadn't been there before. But this Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge is fun. It's exciting. Look, it's twofold, right? Number one is it's great for the fans. And that's what we want to see. We want to implement programs that are going to be great for the fans. So to be able to go out there and not only race against the clock, but have actual competition and race against each other while we're racing against the clock for qualifying at the same time just makes it that much better and gives the fans that much more to root on and root for. So that's number one. And number two, it's an opportunity to win and an opportunity to collect championship points. That's the big thing, is the extra opportunity to collect more points. So you have the opportunity to collect points by going top 3 low of the session, but also the opportunity to win that challenge, to win that shootout and collect championship points that way. So there is a lot on the line, maybe a lot to balance, because at the same time, we're trying to create the same balance between that and the importance of qualifying. But I think it's great for everyone all around. It was something we definitely wanted to win and something that we enjoyed being a part of.
There was something you didn't win this weekend, which was the Supra showdown against Alexis, right? I was trying to think about all the weekend. Like, you swept everything, right? Now, there was one race, and she was very proud. She told me, I'm so happy to win that deal. We have a lot of extra stuff going on out there. You're taking part in super races. Cap said he was nervous too. You ran Alexis, the bonus race, Too Fast, Too Tasty. Of course, qualifying, just a lot to keep track of out there.
It was. And let me tell you something. I was so nervous in that Supra, I have to be honest with you. I know Ron said the same thing, and I think Alexis felt the same way because, we're used to driving the cars that we drive, but this is something totally different. And I was looking forward to it. Toyota does such an amazing job of taking care of their drivers and taking care of their teams. And I just love being a part of Team Toyota. And this was one of the fun things that we got to do and will continue to get to do throughout the year, was race those beautiful Toyota GR Supras. But Alexis, she whipped me. She put it on me on the starting line. She put it on me at the finish line. She put it on me in between. So it was, I got blown out of the water. I spent most of the time not looking at the finish line. I spent most of the time looking at the rear end of her car. That's how far behind I was. But it was a fun, exciting deal for the fans. And, I got to have another opportunity to get after it again, hopefully soon.
I'm sure you will. And yeah, she told me, she goes, that race really made me feel good about it. Like, to beat a Top Fuel guy. It was great to hear her say that. Not to bring up the one negative on the weekend, but It happens, right? It happens. All right. So you get number one qualifier, winning the Too Fast, Too Tasty, which gives you the opportunity to race Krista Baldwin first round. We had 14 cars. If there was a downside to the weekend, I guess that's it, right? That we had a slightly short field. But Jason McCullough told me, he goes, hey, man, 12 of those cars can run in the 60s. It's still never been more competitive right now. But that number one spot put you against Krista. And if you beat her, you get a bye run in the second round, which that's strategic thinking. And I'm sure that factored in to the opportunity to step on it in that final. Like, let's swing for this thing, because those are points too, right? That's 20 free points.
It is. And it all adds up, and it adds up quickly. But Jason McCullough is right. I mean, look, we'd love to have full fields, and we will have full fields at the majority of races this year. But when there are 14 cars, when there's a shorter field, what a lot of people don't think about is the fact that immediately in the first round, most of those matchups are going to be like final round matchups, because there's that many cars that can run that good at any point in the day. So there's definitely truth to that. But going into it, knowing that it was a 14-car field, obviously the objective is to qualify number one for that reason, for that second round bye. And that was something that was important to us. And I was really glad that we were able to accomplish that. But make no mistake about it, that first round was critical. We were not looking past that first round, and we couldn't. Krista did a great job. She was great on the tree. I know in Phoenix, they went to 384. So we felt like they were going to go down the racetrack. And, I have a lot of respect for Krista and what they do over there with that program. So we wanted to make sure that we did not look ahead of that round. But having a second round bye really was critical to our success on race day. And it started in qualifying, and we knew that. So just hats off to the Phillips Connect boys. They went in and were able to accomplish what we wanted to.
Yeah, you get a bye run right in as the heat of the day is like cresting. It gives you some detail, but then it sets you up for that, teammate, teacher, student, you versus Antron. Initially you guys were quasi teammates. Now you're teammates, as you guys have said it, and just absolute throwdown, get up on the wheel kind of moment. Like, what they got, you're both at your best. You're both running great. And it was a great race. Like that race, 47-49 on the tree, 74-3, 74-6. If you can't find something great in that run, like, I don't know, you must not like drag racing.
That's a throwdown race. I love that. I got out there and looked at the slip because I was curious myself, and I was like, that is a great drag race. And I think prior to that, he had us career-wise, like I think 7 out of the first 10 times. And he's a tough guy to beat. We're not quasi-teammates anymore. We are teammates. Like you said, Joe, and I have so much love and respect for him. He's a mentor to me. He's taught me a lot. Brian Karate and Mark Oswald and Brad Mason and that team do an outstanding job week in and week out. So we're proud to be associated with them, to go out there and cut similar lights, to run similar ETs and similar speeds. That's amazing. What a show that is for the fans. And, felt good collecting the win, because that was going to be a tough one. Anytime we go against them, it usually is a really close race, and it usually is a tough one. And look, they knocked us out last year, with the World Finals there, and kicked us to the curb and hurt our chances to potentially win a championship. So, that was something that was in the back of my mind, and we wanted to go out there. And once the helmet goes on, the visor goes down, all else goes out the window, and we'll be friends, we'll be family like we always are later. But it's about doing everything we can to turn on that win light.
And, I went over and got some notes before that run, and your dad said that. It's like, hey, Justin licensed the Antron's car. He was been a mentor, but Antron knocked Justin out of the championship last year. And if that's in there, man, that's on his mind. Like, this is the only way you get vengeance. Like, you get back is by winning, and they'll be friends after. And that's exactly what happened. But a big run right there to set up another big run, something we've seen on the other side of the ladder. You got Austin storming through the field to run Brittany. Brittany falls by the wayside against Austin. Second time that's happened at In-N-Out Burger Pomona Dragstrip, and setting up back-to-back a rematch of last year's Lucas Oil Winternationals final. So you guys have raced quite a few times, you and Austin, and it only makes sense. Two of the best levers with great equipment, young lions battling each other in the sport, and you were able to get the win. Just tell me about preparing to run Austin. I know Mike and Chris Cunningham, they've got a great history going back to being on Daryl Gwynn's team together. So much good stuff going on there. Tell me about that run.
Well, first of all, Austin's got a great team. He's a driver that I have a lot of respect for, and they've had a lot of really good success at Pomona. And we knew that coming into that round. And for us and for our team, I'm in the pits kind of waiting it out to go to the final round. And I'm looking around and I see Rob Phillips. I see Dave Phillips. I see Jim Epler, Amber White, and all the people from Phillips Connect and that Phillips family. And for me, that's what it was all about. It was about our team, the guys working on the car, and it was about our partners, the guys that put us in a position to be out there doing what we love. So that was our goal. That was our objective. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to win the race for them. And like I said, I have the utmost respect for Austin and his team, but I think it would really be doing us a disservice if we were focused on them. We just wanted to continue our approach and focus on us and just go to A to B as quickly and as fastly as we can and as straight as we could. And I think we did that, and I think the results showed. But we knew it was going to be a throwdown race. It was going to be another good race, which it was, and those final rounds are. It seems like you got almost 4 final rounds most of the time throughout the day. So when you really get there, it's usually another fun and exciting one. And, I hope that there's some more of those final rounds here coming up soon.
Yeah, those guys, Rob, in the winner's circle, came over and talked about how much they're loving the program. And I mentioned a story, like I really believe when they signed up for a full season as opposed to the 3-race trial with you guys, that was in many ways the vote of confidence that has kind of set NHRA drag racing forward with this positive momentum we've got now, because it's like, what's going to happen with this kid, Justin Ashley? What's he going to do? Is he going to be bouncing around, running 2 races, 12 races, 11 races? No, he's going to be out here full time with a full commitment and able to chase championships. And that's really what we need. Good quality part-time cars is part of the combination, but we need good quality full-time cars to run for the championship. They sound like they're loving their connection with the NHRA.
They really are. They're really enjoying it. Aside from their association with our team, they also have the Phillips Connect first to the 300 mile per hour to the 8th club. And that's something that's really important to them too. So they have a bounty out on that and an award for the person to go 300 miles per hour to the 8th. So the NHRA community is alive. It's healthy. It's well. We saw great attendance the first 2 races. We saw good attendance in Pomona again, especially with In-N-Out's involvement. Everything's moving forward in the right direction. And with Phillips Connect and our relationship, it's just such a great culture fit. They operate their company like a family, and it's no coincidence that they're able to have the success that they have in business. And it's because of that reason. And we try and operate our team the same way. So it's a great culture fit. And really it's about bringing out customers to the racetrack, either existing customers or potential customers, and just building upon those relationships and helping to drive business. And so far it's been really successful, and we're going to continue to implement new programs that are going to help our success both on and off the track.
Let's talk about the 013 reaction time. Was that what it was in 013?
Yeah, it was in 013.
Okay, so the debate about, like, did you see it? Like, did you see it? Like, what's going on with there? Because 33, okay, like in the bottom of what's possible, I've always heard 30s are real. But in somewhere in there, it becomes anticipation or being slightly deep or whatever. What is your take on that 13 light?
So I agree. I think that a lot of times when you get that close, it's way too close for comfort, and it really shouldn't be that close. I think generally when you hit it real good, 30s is where you can live. But I saw yellow. That's all I could say. I have no reason to sit here and tell you otherwise, except I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at how deep I was. I do not think I was deep. I put it in shallow and I saw yellow and I left. So to be able to go out there and cut an 013 light took me back a little bit. I was a little bit surprised by that. Obviously a good problem to have. I was grateful for that. And none of it matters unless you turn on the win light, and none of it matters unless you have a car that runs good and reacts quickly off the starting line. So I know that people don't necessarily want to talk about that, but even the reaction time really is a team effort, because it is dependent upon how well the car actually reacts to when you actually hit the throttle in one of these Top Fuel dragsters. So all that matters, but we got the win and we got it, and we'll take it any way that we can get it. But with that 013 light, all I know is I tried to put it in shallow. I saw yellow and I left, and we were able to get the win light.
Yeah, you got the win light, but you have to consider it. I know, like the .90 racers, when they crush one, they're rolling some in the box, right? Well, you don't have that. You can't flatten your front tires. There's few moves to make, so you just kind of trusted in yourself and went back after it again.
Yeah, I mean, look, that was critical. I learned that lesson before. Full transparency, we were in Charlotte last year, the fall race, and cut another good light, like an 020 or whatever. And then I went into the final round and I lost on a hole shot because I had that in the back of my mind. I was like, all right, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to cost the race. I got to be careful. And I was a little bit conservative, and we lost on a hole shot to our teammate, Antron Brown. So lesson learned. And he was the first person to tell me, stop, it's done. Go back to just, as long as you saw yellow, see yellow and go. That's it. Keep it simple, see yellow and go. There's no reason to get conservative. There's no reason to change anything. So lesson learned. And sometimes, I got to go through experiences like that to learn and become better as a driver. So just tried to keep everything the same. We did debrief, make sure that we looked at everything and made sure everything looked normal, see if there were any changes that I could make or the things that I did that I wasn't supposed to do. But after that, it was just back to the drawing board, do the same thing every time.
45 points up on second. You do have the points lead. You spent, time in the top levels of the points last year as well. But as you talk about what you just did with reaction time and debriefing in the car and the team, it does occur to me that you're still relatively early on in the Top Fuel learning curve. There's a lot of experiences yet to have out there, but you've been so good. Something that I'm interested in, though, I saw a few moments where, you are a very level-headed interview, very level, right? Like the highs can't be too high, the lows can't be too low. You stay in this zone. But there are some moments now that I'm seeing where like Justin is like busting out down there. It's coming with success. But I want to know about like feeling comfortable in the car, feeling comfortable breaking out of that level-headed moment in moments to show your excitement level, right? To show that you're fired up. You got fired up a couple of times, like, yeah. And then like, you could see like, listen, I don't, you don't want to taunt anyone. You don't want to be over the top. You want to act like you've been there. There's a million things going on, but I don't know. The more this happens, I'm seeing a little bit of a metamorphosis. Is that true?
Well, look, I think it's important. I think it's critical that we as a team enjoy what we're doing, regardless of the result. But when you're able to win a race, it is so difficult to win one of these races. It is absolutely of the utmost importance to enjoy it. And emotion's good. Emotion's okay. It's because we're passionate about what we do. And when you see a round win or a race win and a collective group of 12 people in the pit area, and then all the partners that we have off the track working as hard as they do to even get us to that point, the accumulation of all that work, I think it's good to get emotional. And yes, I have been getting a little bit more emotional lately. I think that there's more room for that off the track when you're not actually in the car. I think it's important in the car, at least in my approach and our whole team's approach, to be able to stay linear, to be able to stay level-headed, not get too high, not get too low. But, you're right in what you're saying. It has gotten a bit emotional. It's exciting. It's fun, whether it's during interviews or whether it's in the winner's circle or whether it's at the top end or before you hop in the car. But once you hop in the car, I think the goal is always the same. Is to stay level-headed, to stay even-keeled and enjoy these victories with our team, because it really takes a great group of guys, and we're fortunate to have that group.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Mike Green and Dustin Davis, like there was a lot of hugs going around, a lot of excitement. That's big. You had all the Phillips folks in the house, and I like seeing it. And I think people want to see that stuff too. And then Mike Green he walked over to Chris Cunningham. He's like, man, we've been working on Top Fuel cars together for a long time. And now Chris has got his opportunity to be a crew chief. Just so many interesting storylines that people maybe don't necessarily think about. All right, let's talk about the 4-wide mini season now, back to back, right? Yeah. We're going to go Vegas. We're going to go Charlotte. Tommy Delago is going to be our Nitro School guest in Charlotte. For those that are fans of Justin, another reason to come out to Charlotte and watch a little 4-wide. Tommy D, whether he knows it or not, he's our Nitro School co-instructor / victim. So that's going to be a lot of fun. He's done it before and it's going to be great. But 4-wide, is it a different mentality in any way, or is it still stage, see yellow, go?
It's pretty much the same mentality, but of course there are certain nuances that go into racing 4-wide. I'm sure a lot of drivers will tell you the same thing, but the staging process is probably the most significant difference. When you're in the outside lanes 1 through 4, the staging feels pretty normal because you're staging on that outside bulb. But the staging does get a little bit crossed up in lanes 2 and lane 3. So I think it's just a matter of getting comfortable, especially during qualifying with that stuff. It's a matter of kind of going through the processes in your head, just so you're as prepared as you can be when you get up there. So for me, in my preparation, that's really where most of the difference is. The mentality is going to stay the same, but most of the difference is going to be in that staging process and just making sure that I'm aware of which bulb I am when I get ready to put that car in.
And the season start in general, starting in Gainesville, going to Arizona. That's a good that it was a sellout. It's bad that it might be the last. Pomona, I think a lot of people were worried that Pomona was going to underwhelm, and it didn't. It was good. It was strong. It was up. Everybody had fun. The track was clean and new and fresh, and the In-N-Out tie, we all ate and fed. Did you have any In-N-Out burgers?
I didn't. By the time I went over there, it was closed at the end of the day. But Rob Phillips did buy In-N-Out for the entire team, so they had it. I think before the final round, had a bunch of In-N-Out. So I was tempted. I was looking at it. I wanted it. I saw everyone walking around with their In-N-Out hats on, but no, I decided to avoid it. But I have to tell you, Joe, In-N-Out's involvement, and I'm from the East Coast, so I really wasn't too familiar with this, but I can see the natural tie-in between In-N-Out's involvement, not only on the West Coast, but with NHRA drag racing. It's so nice to see them back out there. I think there were 5 In-N-Out trucks just on site, people walking around with doubles, people walking around with hamburgers and hats on their head. It really was fun to see. So, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to In-N-Out on behalf of all the teams, the drivers, and the NHRA for their involvement, because you can definitely see the natural correlation there, and it was a lot of fun to race at In-N-Out Pomona Dragstrip this time around.
Yeah, and I think that we can sell out the finals with that cult of In-N-Out. It's going to be the In-N-Out Burger Finals at In-N-Out Burger Pomona Dragstrip. Think of all the chaos and mayhem that we will all experience by the time we get back to that track in November. And we just had such a great event. Why would you not want to come out and be a part of that deal? And so I'm getting ahead of the storyline right now. Like, everyone needs to be making plans to go to the finals and be a part of that, because it's going to be wild. Like, do you give thought to that while you're out there at the Winter Nationals? Like, man, the next time we're here, it's not going to be this like chill, fun experience. It's going to be the pressure cooker of the championship.
Yeah, it's going to be going down that time. By the time we get back there in November, it's going to be focused on that championship, and hopefully we're going to be one of the teams that are in it. You don't put too much thought into it because we're a long ways off. As we said in the beginning of the show, Joe, the competition out there is so good, and it's great to have the points lead. It's fun. It's exciting. The points that we collect now, just as much as the points that we collect as we lead up to the countdown. But ultimately, you got to stay hot. You got to get hot at the right time, which is right around the countdown. So, there was some thought that went into it. When we return to Pomona in November, it's going to be on. It's going to be fast. All the teams are going to be very aggressive in trying to take that home, that championship. So, hopefully we certainly expect to be one of those teams, and hopefully we are.
You mentioned the 300 mile per hour to the 8th mile program. I'm sure you would love to be the one who gets it, but everything's got to be right. The conditions got to be right. The track's got to be right. Like, off the top of your head, is there a star next to a track on the circuit that maybe that could happen? When summer comes, the opportunity is pretty much over, I would think.
Yeah.
And then you got to get back into the fall before that's possible. Is that possible anywhere coming up?
It's certainly possible. It's certainly possible. Phillips Connect, they put this 300 mile per hour to the 8th club for a reason. As we know, Jim Epler was the first funny car driver to go 300 miles per hour to the 8th mile, which is crazy to think here we are with the advancements in technology going 300 miles per hour to half the distance. But look, coming up, I think it's certainly possible. As we're moving into the summer months, it becomes a lot more difficult, but a little bit further down the road, the race that stands out to me and always does is Reading. Reading is generally a very fast racetrack. And that is one that I think, an asterisk needs to go next to that one, because I can certainly see it happening there. And I think we were in Brainerd, actually, believe it or not, last year, which I guess was in August. But I remember Brittany, because we were up next, I think we went 298 and she went 299 to the 8th mile. So with that being said, Reading is one of them, but it could happen at any track, really, at any time, if anyone's on their A game. So, obviously we would like it to be us, and a lot of teams out there feel the same way. So I think you'll see teams start to inch closer and closer to it throughout the season. And I do think that in 2023, someone's going to hit that number.
I am hoping. Certainly. Justin, congratulations. Back-to-back, multiple ways, back-to-back races, back-to-back Winter Nationals. You won on Saturday, you won on Sunday. Whole lot of winning going on. Happy Easter to you and your family. Enjoy your weekend off, whatever you're going to choose to do. And then we're back at it in Vegas 4 wide, a little 4 wide back-to-back action as well. And I know you're going to try to stay hot as you get out there and hit Vegas. Thanks for coming on WFO, sharing your victories with us.
Appreciate it, Joe. Thank you for having me on. Happy holidays to everyone out there. And I think I'm going to go hop in a Toyota GR Supra and get back to practice.
Yeah.
Next race. I think I need some work.
There you go. There it is. Did you get any test time at all, or did they just put you on a test?
No, but you know what? It was better. I think it was better that. So Ron and Antron drove the night before, or Thursday night or Friday night. And then they race the next day. So they got some practice time. But next time I'll get some practice time. But man, Joe, those cars are sweet. Those Supras that Toyota makes, they are awesome. So I got to get to work on practicing the races, but I think I got to get one myself first before we go any further.
There you go. Exactly. That's how you'll get ahead of Alexis. She was so proud of it. It was a really great weekend for everybody. All right, Justin, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Joe. Have a good one.
There goes Justin Ashley with us here on WFO Radio. All right, put your comments in the comments section, guys, real quick while I tell you about Marvin Rodak, coffee, hot sauce, spice rub, everything good. 817-924-6821. Call Marvin, order the WFO Radio blend. Full bean. Grind it up yourself. You will love it. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure at frankhawley.com. You can drive a dragster. Make 1 half-track, 2 full-track passes, and then you will love drag racing the way we all do as well. And then there's samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology, machinists, engine builders, blockhead, CNC programming, motorsport EFI tuning, and they're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill, samtech.edu. And then there's our Patreon VIP Listener Club. Join them, patreon.com/WFO Radio. You can hear the Secret Pro Stock Show. You can hear Monday Motivation, even sometimes on Tuesday. And thanks to Bernie's, of course, and Phillips Connect. Speaking with Rob in the winner's circle, it was one of those organic moments where we just started talking about how much we're loving what's going on right now. And that, they just won the race, of course, so they're going to be positive and emotional. But he started like listing all the things that are good for Phillips and their clients about NHRA drag racing that you can't get at like a game where the game starts, you're hanging at the game. There's so many opportunities for personal moments and interaction, and it's great. I'm happy that it's working for Phillips Connect. FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters, of course, the folks at Foggett and Total Seal Piston Rings, all helping out WFO Radio. Of course, want you to share the show, guys. We're coming up on a major milestone with subscriptions, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. We want you to be on board and get this show out there because we're going to have Dallas Glenn. We're going to have Matt Hagan, Alan Reinhart next week as we get ready for Vegas. We do not join each other because I got to schedule Dallas Glenn, make sure he's going to be on. If we don't connect again this week, have a great weekend and happy Easter to you and your family. And if we do, then this is moot. Don't forget to check out our gear, all the WFO swag. It is all available in the store, and I believe it is on sale as we speak, which is very, very cool. And more to come. We're going to be here all season long. We're going to be interviewing the drivers. A lot of good stuff going on in the WFO universe. But yeah, rock the colors, baby. Rock the colors. The link is in the chat section as we speak. And big thanks to Justin Ashley, Mike Ashley, and Tommy D, who's going to be our Nitro School guest out there at the Charlotte 4-Wide. So if you want to get your tickets now, let's keep that momentum going. Yeah, everybody needs to be buying tickets to something. Buy some tickets to something. We'll have an update on Project Pontiac coming real soon as well. Getting some new information on that. See what a couple of comments are. Yeah, the web activity today, I mentioned it. I shouldn't have mentioned it with Justin. Like, what's going on with everybody? The web activity, a little low today. I got to make sure we stream to all of our live locations. And if not, we need you to share it around. Blake is out there. He's going to be getting his own channel, which is very, very cool. Gary saying, what's up? AJ out there. Happy Easter to all of you. Like Warren Johnson said, bad job of red lighting. Or not. Maybe Justin can dial up to 13 every once in a while when he needs it. If that's the case, watch out. Watch out. The guy is good. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. Appreciate all of you. Thanks to Justin. Thanks to his behind-the-scenes team for making it all happen. WFO.